it's Angie from Canterbury Trails Farm. I got a few emails, couple emails, from some viewers, and they were asking if I had any craft ideas using vintage linen so it wasn't a sewing project. Apparently they had some older pillowcases that were no longer usable, but the embroidery was still pretty and they wanted something to do with it, but they didn't sew. So I've done a couple videos on using vintage linens, and this one is going to be making greeting cards using vintage linen. There's a lot of sort of busy prep work that goes into this before you get to the stage where you get to make it. First of all, I ordered these. They're just like craft paper, and I'm doing my Christmas cards. I'm cross-stitching Christmas cards this year, which I've started, and that'll be another video. But I'm using these same cards, and they have like a 4x6 opening, and they have like a slot in the back where you could slide it. They're like, you can use them for photos or whatever, but they're just this plain craft paper, and they come in all kinds of different, every imaginable color of stock paper that you can, card stock paper that you can think of. But I like the craft. I like the craft paper. So, and they come with envelopes. So I'm going to be making a set of 10 note cards using vintage linens. Let me tell you what else I purchased. I bought their adhesive sheets. These are by Scrapbook Adhesives, but I also have bought clear double-sided sheets by Elizabeth Craft Designs. And this isn't a brand, neither one of these are brands that I was familiar with, but they had good reviews, and so I got them for my project. The other thing I bought, I don't think these had a brand, the Design Guys. I got these off of Amazon too. And they are 4.5 by 6 1/8 clear photo sleeves. Like you can put photos in there, like a 6x4 photo. And they have a adhesive thing on there. So the idea, and I also, let me tell you that, I also cut 10 sheets of cardstock and cardboard that would fit inside the adhesive envelopes. And then I also verified that they fit inside the card. There's a lot of double checking here. And I had to make them a little narrower and shorter because they're going to get covered with the vintage linens. So I just used some cards, one piece of cardstock I had, and then I saved these cardboards that come in my cat's food. Gets delivered in flats from Amazon, and they always have a separator made out of cardboard, and I've saved those. We use them for homeschool projects and stuff all the time, but it's a nice sheet of 8 by 11. So I have on my stack here, I have the cards ready to go, the little cardstocks and cardboards. I have the clear sleeves. I have the sheets of adhesive, and I have these other ones in case I need them. And then what I did is I already went through my vintage linens and selected, remember I buy the lots of damaged vintage linens. Sometimes I can repair some of them and reuse them, like I like to use a lot of Huck toweling and runners. I'm able to make dish towels out of those. But for a lot of them, like there's a lot of, in the 40s through early 60s, a lot of bridge tablecloths. They're just a small square tablecloth. Usually they measure about 36 inches square. And I get a lot of those, and they are usually it's like part of it is heavily stained and the other part will be fine. So I always get a lot of nice embroidery out of these. So I went through and I selected some different parts that I thought would make pretty. Some of these are going to be vertical cards and some of them will be horizontal. But I just selected things that I thought made interesting and pretty cards. Some of these were from the same, they were different image, like illustrations from the same piece. That lace won't show. This one was neat because it had a lot of French knots on it, so a lot of texture on that one. Some of these you might recognize from some of the vintage linens and some of the videos that I've made. This one was a pretty one. And then this one. So at first, my first thought was I could add buttons and stuff, but I want to mail these through the mail. So I want to keep them as thin as possible. And so I try to select linens that were as thin a fabric as possible, not big, cruel kind of pieces. And I nixed all the ideas of adding any kind of embellishment because of the reason that I just stated. I want them to go through the mail. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have my vintage linen, and obviously it's cut. I'm going to have to cut it to size. And I have my cardboard. So I'm just going to lay that on there, and with a pencil, I'm going to determine where I sort of want to do it, and I'm going to do it sort of like this. Just make a mark so I can flip it over and center my piece. Alright, on these particular brand of adhesives, it has one, when you peel it back, it will leave this tape on here, and that's good because then it will let you peel that off in order to, they're double-sided, so it's going to make this into like a sticker. So the adhesive will be on the card, and then I can put the card onto the linens. Line it up as best I can. Put it down on there and smooth it out. Make sure it's on good. Now I want to I've already filmed one of these videos, and I used the Elizabeth Craft Design clear double-sided adhesive, and it worked really awesome. So this is my first time using this brand. So let's see. We'll do one card out of this, and we might switch to the other brand if I decide I don't like this. It seems like I really need to rub. Now my little card is sticky. So now I want to put it on that mark where I had it and sort of line it up. And if you do a lot of scrapbooking, sticker making, you might already have a little roller. I don't have one, but those work good. So since I have fabric, I'm going to go on both sides, and I'm holding it and pulling it so I can try to get the, I don't want any bubbles, and I want to press as many fibers of that fabric into the adhesive. Alright, now if I was cutting anything with the adhesive, I would use regular scissors. I'm just going to trim around it with my fabric scissors here. Because remember, the adhesive is on the cardboard, so as long as I don't cut through the cardboard. Alright, now my vintage linen is on my card. I want to take one of my sleeves and slide that down in there. And I'm going to take the thing, I want to make sure, static clean here. To make sure I do that as tight as I can so it doesn't slip around inside there. Now it's like in plastic, so it's not going to get dirty. Right now I want to take my card. I just want a very small piece of tape. I'm going to decide if I want to push it up or push it down. I want to sort of try to, and I want to reach in there. You probably should only need 2 small pieces. I'm just sort of anchoring it. This is a vertical one. So let's do, see if I have a horizontal one. As you're smoothing, always hold on to one end very firmly because it might circle. Okay, since I have all these little individual areas, I'm going to give them a rub. Now I went through and I ironed all of these when I made my selections, and I cut them bigger than I knew I was going to be trimming them, so I really like using the plastic sleeves. I mean, you wouldn't have to have the plastic sleeves, but I think it gives it on a more finished look, and it also protects the fabric from, you know, kind of getting dirty or anything. I really went, when I was going through, I was really being sort of choosy about what I was picking, the picture, you know, the pieces, the note cards to be pretty, and I wanted to do a set. And this would make an excellent, if you know someone that appreciates antiques and vintage linens and stuff, this would make an awesome gift. I mean, like a set of these, you bought a nice, like a nice cardboard box or something to put them in. Guess that one could go either way. And that's it. Now we have our set of 10 note cards, and I think they all turned out really pretty. Some are horizontal, some are vertical. So this has been Angie from Canterbury Trails Farm, and I hope you enjoyed this fun project.